with another video, cranking them out. So this one is going to be from the YouTube channel Nonstop. And this is going to be talking about Ja Morant, man. The NBA's biggest villain. Or at least that's what it seems like. I ain't going to hold you. When I first came across Ja Morant a few years back, I was really excited because I'm like, I like how he plays. We're about the same height. I'm 6'3". So it was cool to see somebody out there with the vertical that he has, and he's able to like leap like that and dunk and stuff like that. So I'm thinking, he's going to be the next big guy in the game, in the NBA. He's going to be next. And the whole situation with his, with the guns and stuff like that in the strip club and being on live, like it just really just messed everything up. And then like his nonchalant approach to the game now, he's ready to get out of Memphis. It's just weird. But we're not going to do too much rambling. We'll see what this video is talking about. Make sure you like, sub to the channel, leave your comments and all of that. And let's get to the video.
$8 million. That's how much money Ja Morant's lost from NBA suspensions.
The Grizzlies have suspended star point guard Ja Morant.
NBA star Ja Morant has been suspended again.
The Memphis Grizzlies have suspended guard Ja
Morant. The
Morant.
league is suspending Ja Morant
due to his reckless habit of showing guns on Instagram. And if you count the money Morant lost from bonuses and endorsement deals, the price of promoting violence is closer to $60 million. However, the real problem isn't the money. It's that Morant was involved in nearly a dozen incidents in a span of 2 years.
Incredibly disappointed, disgusted, wondering what the hell is wrong with him.
From suspensions to court cases, fights off the court, fighting with coaches, beefs with players, and disrespecting the NBA, Morant has become one of the most problematic players in the league.
We have to stop putting ourselves in positions to where they could take away what we've worked so hard to get to.
And what's crazy is, Ja Morant was supposed to be the face of the NBA, winning Rookie of the Year and becoming a two-time All-Star in his first 4 seasons. Morant became one of the best and most entertaining players in basketball.
Morant blows by Primo. Attack!
This was a moment, I'm not gonna lie. Like, that was a moment right there when he was, before his drags got as long as they got, that was a moment, he was really shooting out the gym. Like, it's crazy.
Then Ja changed. He started drinking and going to strip clubs, wearing gold chains and carrying guns, while his entourage caused trouble seemingly every week. Even his dad got into a fight during a game. To make matters worse, his on-court production has also suffered. Morant is currently averaging the lowest point total since his first 2 seasons.
Telling you, man, that's what happens when you give, somebody some money who's from the dirt country that ain't never really had nothing, ain't really seen nothing like that. They don't know how to act, man. They bring their bad habits with them, and they don't know how to suppress that. You're in the NBA now. You're making more money than most people will ever see in their lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should be appreciative that you can come and go, go to the best of doctors, eat the best of foods, travel to some of the most extravagant places without even having to blink an eye. You know what I'm saying? Most people will never get that experience in their lifetime. And this is what you're doing. It's crazy.
Seasons in the NBA with the worst shooting percentages of his career.
That's insane.
It's becoming clear that something needs to change.
Like, you need to find your motivation back, and something's got to change.
This is the Ja Morant story. How a humble kid from South Carolina became a hero and then transformed into one of the NBA's biggest villains. After an electrifying start at Murray State, the Memphis Grizzlies selected Ja Morant with the 2nd overall pick in the 2019 NBA Draft. And during his pre-draft interview, Morant passed all the questions with flying colors. There were 0 red flags, and the Grizzlies couldn't find a single person who had anything bad to say about Ja. Morant was a hard worker, came to the public spotlight late in his career, and played with a chip on his shoulder. He came from a stable family, didn't drink or smoke, and was always respectful towards coaches and teammates. Everyone who described Morant said he was humble and coachable, a gym rat that was unfazed by fame. And when Morant first came to the NBA, he acted that same way. People who interacted with Morant and his father T felt that they were humble and respectful, easy to talk to, and never overstayed.
Yeah, because they got to get to the bag. You just got into the league. You don't want to mess up your opportunity. It's like, yo, we got to play the part. You know what I'm saying? We got to show that we're appreciative and we're humble and we're so happy to be here. And then the money starts rolling in, and then things just change.
Kept boundaries. He would always kind of come off very humble. He would ask questions. "Man, if you don't mind, can I have a seat right there?" Very courteous. However, towards the end of his rookie season, the first signs of trouble began. Team sources said there were concerns about how frequently the underage Morant, usually accompanied by his father, would go out drinking and visit strip clubs before games. But those problems were largely swept under the rug, especially since Ja produced on the court, averaging 17.8 points and 7.3 assists per game, winning the Rookie of the Year award almost unanimously, with only one vote going to Zion Williamson. However, by his third year, the drinking and the partying became too hard to ignore. Throughout the 2021-22 season, when Morant was named the NBA's most improved player, a pattern emerged on the Grizzlies' road trips. After landing, a van would be waiting for Ja and his entourage, who followed him everywhere. Morant would fly him in on a private jet, cover the hotel costs, and all the expenses. And the Grizzlies noticed that Morant started to come to practices hungover, or be late to team events the next day. But Ja was averaging 27 points per game, and everybody in the organization kept silent about his lifestyle.
Yeah, it's like, yo, if you doing all of this, but you're actually producing on the court, it's like, okay, as long as it doesn't affect your game, do what you will. This is no different than Dennis Rodman back in the 90s when he was with the Bulls. Party all night, do all of that. But when it was time to play and lace up your shoes, he produced. You know what I'm saying? Greatest rebound ever.
Adams going long. Morant.
As NBA superstars are often given a certain leeway that role players never experience. There was no discipline, a Grizzlies source said. They felt they could do anything they wanted. In my opinion, the enabling was out of control, just constant. In February 2022, Morant was traveling to his first All-Star game in a private jet, surrounded by friends and family. He decided to share his happiness with the world on Instagram Live, passing bottles of tequila and drinking straight from the bottle.
Oh, man, we was lit.
I don't know if that's like his best friend, but I always see that dude with him. He is a bad influence. I think he's one of his friends from back in South Carolina or whatever. But he clearly, you know, the one without the skill, without the athletic ability is the one that you always got to your left. You know what I'm saying? And he's just a bad influence.
Morant later set off to flight. Celebrating your first All-Star appearance is perfectly fine, and athletes drinking expensive alcohol isn't anything new, so it wasn't treated as a big deal. However, Ja's need to go live during drinking sessions would soon get him into trouble.
Right.
After he signed a 5-year, $194 million extension, the biggest contract in franchise history, the Grizzlies noticed a further change in Ja's behavior. Once a humble and peaceful kid from Carolina, he suddenly became something of a diva. Always surrounded by an entourage, getting into arguments with people in the organization, and acting annoyed if something didn't go his way. In July 2022, a sneaker store salesperson and Morant's mother allegedly engaged in a heated confrontation, after which the salesperson said that Morant and several friends showed up and threatened him, with a later report indicating that Ja shoved him in the parking lot. A week later, Ja was involved in a physical altercation with a 17-year-old teenager, Joshua Holloway, during a pickup game at Morant's home.
You're talking about like basketball player John Morant?
Basketball player.
Okay, like Memphis Grizzly John Morant?
Grizzly John Morant, yeah.
So grown man just hit you in the face?
Yeah.
And a little friend.
Yeah, they jumped me.
Holloway was a frequent guest at Ja's house, and they often played ball together. But after they got into a fight, the teenager decided to file a civil lawsuit. Morant claimed it was self-defense after Holloway hit him with a basketball and got into a fighting stance.
Ball came, hit in my face, I flinched back like this. So I'm like, what you want?
After which, Morant punched him.
Yes, I punched him.
Followed by another punch by Ja's friend. And even though the case was later dismissed and Morant was essentially found not guilty, it was the second incident in the span of 1 week. And it wouldn't be the only one. In September of 2022, Morant's sister got into an argument during a high school volleyball game. After which, Ja and his friends arrived at the scene, leading to an altercation in which witnesses said that one of Morant's friends threatened a student. But when the 2023 season started, Morant kept producing on the court, averaging 26 points and 8 assists per game, making his second All-Star appearance.
Ja Morant! Yeah! Save those dunks for the big game.
On January 20th, Ja's father, T. Morant, got into an argument with Shannon Sharpe during a game with the Lakers, with Ja also getting involved in the potential fight.
Shannon Sharpe still talking, and T. Morant, Ja Morant's dad, comes over. Had an opportunity to talk to T. Morant, and he said, my blood pressure didn't go up a bit.
But the situation soon de-escalated. And just 9 days later, after a game against the Pacers, Morant got involved in another incident. Ja's crew got into an argument with some of the members from the Pacers organization, who reported that someone pointed a laser at him, likely attached to a gun, with the laser beam coming from Morant's SUV.
As the first car leaves in the second car, and reportedly Ja is riding in the second car, a dot of a red laser appears on several of the people up on the loading dock just to scare them. But again, the security guard said, I believe that's attached to a weapon.
Yes.
You're kidding.
The NBA launched an investigation, but without sufficient evidence, nothing came out of it.
Yeah, I mean, that was addressed internally.
And what's also crazy about this whole thing, too, is that, you know, Ja Morant is a Nike athlete as well. So this definitely doesn't look good on them either. And, you know, they got rid of Kyrie Irving, you know, for, you know, reasons I won't explain. But, you know, you got this going on. Listen, I know most people will say that the NBA is soft now. They want to, you know, call everything, and it's not as physical as it used to be back in the 90s. But this type of stuff with the whole guns and stuff like that and the drink, that was not something that was allowed, you know, during David Stern's reign in the NBA as commissioner. And so with this Adam Silver dude, he's just too chill with stuff. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it's crazy.
Where the investigation of the NBA, you know, did a full-on investigation. We were fully compliant with it, and I think they came out with a statement saying nothing was corroborated or found. So, you know, that's what I know, and that's all I'm going to comment about.
However, the Grizzlies staff had finally had enough and confronted Morant, telling him that he's messing up and to not act like Steve Francis and Allen Iverson, who, like him, were extremely talented point guards, but whose actions off the court cut their careers short. But Ja wasn't in the right headspace to hear those messages, and he brushed them off, saying that none of the incidents or his lifestyle were affecting his game. And yet, only a month later, Ja made headlines again, and for all the wrong reasons.
To NBA superstar Ja Morant, now under investigation. The league launching that probe after the Memphis Grizzlies point guard appeared to display a gun on Instagram Live while at a nightclub early this morning.
After the Grizzlies lost to the Nuggets on March 3rd, Morant went to a strip club where he broadcast himself on Instagram Live while holding a handgun. And even though he deleted his social media accounts, put out a statement taking responsibility for his actions, and apologized to his team and his fans, the NBA didn't take the situation lightly. Commissioner Adam Silver issued an 8-game suspension to Morant, saying that his conduct was irresponsible, reckless.
Let me tell you something. If that was David Stern, Ja Morant would have gotten suspended for the entire season behind something like that. Like, David Stern did not play that. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. Yeah.
And potentially very dangerous. Morant then flew to Florida, where he began an 11-day stay at a private counseling facility. The day before his return, he addressed the media and his time away, saying that alcohol didn't influence his decision-making.
I don't got an alcohol problem, never had an alcohol problem. I didn't go there for alcohol, I went there for counseling.
But then on May 13th, 2023, 3 months after he served his suspension, Morant did it again. While driving in a car with his best friend Devontae Pack, Ja and Pack were vibing the music, with Morant sitting in the passenger seat while Pack drove. Pack was also streaming the scene, and unfortunately for his friend, Morant was caught on video while holding a gun. And even though he appeared on the screen with a gun for less than 2 seconds, the image of Morant instantly went viral, even after the video was deleted from Pack's account. It was the second incident of its kind in less than 3 months, the 7th overall in less than a year. And on June 16th, the league announced that Morant would be suspended without pay for the first 25 games of the following season. And with a yearly salary of approximately $34 million, or roughly $309,000 per game, Morant lost nearly $7.7 million. And to make things even worse, due to the missed games, he lost the opportunity to make the All-NBA team, which would have activated bonuses in his contract that would increase his earnings by nearly $40 million. On top of that, Powerade dropped Morant and ended their endorsement deal, while other potential brands that had considered working with Ja changed their minds. So with everything added up, Ja lost north of $60 million, and maybe even more, due to his imitation of Chris Tucker in Rush Hour.
FBI, take a picture. It's okay. Wait a minute.
That 25-game suspension was the 9th longest ban of a player in league history, as the league does not take guns lightly, especially after Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Crittenden brought guns to the Wizards' locker room in 2009.
And that one got locked
Adam
up.
Silver was visibly mad and disappointed, calling Morant's conduct reckless and irresponsible, specifically noting the kids who look up to him.
As you said, he's a star. I mean, he has an incredibly huge following.
Yeah.
And that my concern, and I thought he shared with me, that millions, if not tens of millions of kids globally would see him as having done something that was celebrating in a way.
Silver also said that for Morant to return to play, he'd be required to complete a program with the league to prevent him.
Listen, if you don't want to be in the NBA, just say that. Look, don't sit up here and say to yourself, you know what, I struck gold. You know, I got into the NBA, something that a lot of kids wish they could do, when reality is getting into the NBA is almost like hitting the lottery. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're blessed to even be there, because in terms of, I mean, you're a point guard, you know, you're 6'3", but in the league, you're considered, you know, short. And when you got 6'8", 6'9", even some 7-footers out there like Wemby shooting lights out behind the, you know, 3-point line, yo, you really got to know how to facilitate the game. You know what I'm saying? It could get to a point where it's going to get a lot harder for you to get into the league, you know, because they'll start to consider you being undersized. You know what I'm saying? You're not bulky. You're not that tall. You know what I'm saying? So you really got to perform. You look at somebody like a Steph Curry, he be shooting lights out. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I don't have that huge vertical. I'm not tall. You know what I'm saying? So I got to make up for my game in other ways. You know, I got to shoot lights out. That's what you should be doing. Now, it's cool that, you know how to dunk and, you know, you can put on a show and stuff like that. But, yo, look, if you don't want to be in the NBA, say that.
From repeating this destructive behavior. That same day, Morant issued his statement to the league, the Grizzlies, his teammates, and the city of Memphis, apologizing for the harm he'd caused. To the kids who look up to me, I'm sorry for failing you as a role model. I promise I'm going to be better. To all of my sponsors, I'm going to be a better representation of our brands.
Sure.
And to all of my fans, I'm going to make it up to you. I promise.
Sure you are.
And on December 19th, 2023, Morant returned from suspension, scoring 27 of his 34 points in the second half, along with a game-winning shot in a 115-113 win against the Pelicans.
Here goes Morant. He spins. Morant scores! And the timer expires. Count the basket. And Ja Morant wins it for the Grizzlies.
But after playing in only 9 games, Morant suffered a shoulder injury that sidelined him for the rest of the 2024 season. And Ja recovered in time for the 2025 season opener, but 2 weeks into the season, he got hurt again.
3-on-2. Jake lobs and Morant, takes a hard fall. And there was no foul called. The crowd can't believe it.
After which Morant said he won't dunk anymore. On March 28, 2025, the Grizzlies fired coach Taylor Jenkins, with only 9 games left in the regular season, and Memphis already securing a playoff spot with a 44-29 record. Now, Jenkins was Morant's only NBA head coach, and Ja was unhappy with his dismissal. And just 3 days later, he was involved in yet another incident. This time, during a game against the Warriors, Ja and Golden State's guard Buddy Hield made gun-aiming gestures at one another, after which the NBA issued a warning to both players.
As the Warriors were going to the bench, Ja Morant had some form of gesture there. You can make that what you want. And then Buddy Hield kind of responded, so you have offsetting tees, no free throws.
However, Ja completely ignored it, and the very next game, he made multiple gun-aiming gestures. When he was asked about the criticism he faced for the celebration, Morant said that he was used to the negative narrative around him. I was pretty much a villain for 2 years now. Every little thing, if somebody can say something negative about me, it's going to be out there. So, yeah, I don't care no more. The following day, Morant was fined $75,000 for the gun-pointing celebration, after which he replied that he would start imitating grenade throwing instead. During the first round of the playoffs against OKC, Morant got injured again.
Oh, boy. The contact from Dort, and Morant is still down.
And see, that's the thing, too, with him being 6'3". You know, he's not, like I said, in the regular world, us 6'3" dudes, we're considered tall. But in the NBA, we are short. You know what I'm saying? And he's not bulky. You know what I mean? Which it wouldn't be good for someone his size to be a lot heavier anyway. He needs to have that speed and agility. But the problem is you're trying to do all of this dunking in the post. And again, because you're so freakishly athletic, it takes a toll on your body. You know what I'm saying? So you need to start to develop an outside game, a mid-range shot, shoot some threes. You know what I mean? Like, this is what you need to be doing, because you're going in the posts where you got these big dudes. They're going to get physical. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about that. It's crazy, man.
Which put a bad taste in everyone's mouth, as his career arc had become increasingly frustrating. And before the start of the 2025-26 season, on NBA Media Day, Ja leaned into his new role as a villain, saying he doesn't want to be the face of the NBA. And then he quickly proved his point, because the face of the NBA doesn't get suspended every year, which Ja managed to accomplish after only 2 weeks of the season.
Tonight, the Memphis Grizzlies have suspended guard Ja Morant for 1 game for, they say, conduct detrimental to the team.
On October 31st, after getting defeated by the Lakers 117-112, in which Ja only scored 8 points on 3 of 14 shooting, Morant expressed his frustration with the new coaching staff. In a post-game interview, the reporters asked him what went wrong for him in the game, to which Morant replied,
Go ask the coaching staff.
Ja grew increasingly frustrated with the new head coach, Thomas Isolo, and his offensive scheme. And after his public comments, the Grizzlies suspended Morant for 1 game. Upon his return, reporters asked Ja whether he was playing with the same joy. And Morant simply said,
No.
What can be done to get it back?
We'll see.
Clearly showing that something was broken in his relationship with the franchise. But this wasn't the end of all the controversies. Morant got injured again, and he watched the November 22nd game against the Mavericks in street clothes. But somehow, he still managed to become the most talked about player after the game. After the final buzzer sounded, Morant and Klay Thompson got into an argument and had to be separated.
And then
Ja got in there. I didn't see that the first time.
I saw that the first time. And where he comes from, I don't know. You didn't even play tonight. So you should have been in the locker room already.
And after the game, Klay had nothing positive to say about Ja.
And man, with Ja, he's a funny guy. He has a lot to say, especially for a guy who rarely takes accountability. But he's been running his mouth for a long time. It's funny to run your mouth when you're on the bench. It's kind of the story of his career so far, just leaving us wanting more, you know? We all want to see him out there and do his best, but he's just been letting a lot of other stuff get in the way of that. When you're a star, it comes with a great responsibility. I hate to see that go to waste.
So far in the 2026 season, Morant is shooting a career low from the field at just above 40%. And he's even worse from the three-point line, shooting just above 20% from deep. His point average is the lowest it's been since his first 2 seasons, while his turnovers are almost at an all-time high, despite only playing 28 minutes a night. Morant's trade value has never been lower, due to his decreased performance, all the injuries, and off-court issues. It's insane to think that just 3 years ago, he was considered one of the best players in the world and the one who's least likely to get traded. But now, even if the Grizzlies wanted to get rid of him, they would likely not get much in return, as any team that'd be willing to take on Ja would also be taking a huge risk, since he's missed more games than he's played in over the last 3 seasons. It's a shame that we've gotten to this point, because at his best, Ja was one of the most entertaining players to watch, and he's one of the most athletic point guards in NBA history.
Morant. Jawbreaker!
But Ja wants to be a gangster, and it would be a terrible waste of talent if he doesn't manage to resurrect his career. Because really, anybody can wave a gun on Instagram, but not many people can dunk over 7-footers and twist in the air like he can.
Ja in the late game situation.
In about 15 or 20 years, we could be watching his Hall of Fame speech. But we could also be watching him on the news, beating up another teenager or being involved in another gun incident. It's Morant's choice which road he'll take. And for the sake of all NBA fans worldwide.
All right, that's the end of the video, but I'm going to wrap this up. Yeah, this is, from the way it's looking, this is going to be one of those telltale stories about how he once was one of the most electrifying potential players we ever seen, only for that to be derailed by his bad off-the-court decisions. And then, of course, the injuries and stuff like that. It kind of makes you wonder, was he ever really like NBA material, so to speak? Because, yeah, any dude can dunk, you know, with enough, you know, vertical exercises and stuff like that, you can get up there. But when you really pull back the curtain and you really look at his game, there's no 3-point shooting. There's no mid-range. Like, what else do you have besides going in the post and dunking the ball and posterizing everybody? You know what I'm saying? He hasn't taken no time to develop that part of his game, apparently, and it's showing. And now with you having these injuries, you can't really take that chance to be dunking like that, because you could, one wrong move and then it's over for real. Now you can't play anymore. So now you're trying to find other ways to really build your game. And it's like, this should have been something that was done before you even got into the league, before you even went to college. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's sad to see. You made it to the NBA, something that most kids will never get to say. That's a dream for a lot of young men, to get to the NBA, to make a lot of money and take care of their family. And you, at one point, were considered a superstar player. $194 million contract over, 5 years? Like, come on, man. Like, I would be playing lights out, because when you're in the NBA, there's a small window of time that you have to make the most money you'll ever make, whether that be you staying with the same franchise you started with or getting traded. All the money that you make got to last you for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? And you got all these people, this entourage, they depending on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would hate to see him years down the road and he's just completely broke and no money, and he's back living in South Carolina, and all them people in your entourage are going to disappear. You know what I'm saying? Because once the money's not coming in, that's when you're going to see their true colors. But yeah, y'all let me know down in the comments, what you think about this. Did y'all watch Ja Morant just 3 years ago when he was doing all these haymakers and all of that stuff? Let me know in the comments. If you did make it this far into the video, as I always say, I appreciate y'all for taking the time to watch it. It means a lot to me. Make sure you sub to the channel. Make sure you like the video. And this is your boy Robbie, and until the next one, I'm out of here.